in Canada, at least, I'm seeing this sweeping changes lately around like protein coffee, protein chips, protein ice cream, proteins in everything. Starbucks has protein drinks now. It's like, is this another one of these fads that's just sort of overblown? Like, how much protein do we actually need? Is it like important that we have protein in our coffee every morning? Like, how big of a, or is this just sort
I
of
think
a sales
okay, firstly, I saw
tactic?
like the protein coffees at Tim Hortons, like a ad. I actually have my VPN to Canada, so I get like a lot of Canadian ads. But
Amazing.
when I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Like, am I seeing this right? Because I was thinking
It's
like Tim
getting
Hortons would be like the last place to do something like that, but
it's getting a second wave though, because this happened a couple years
yeah, it
ago
happened a
too. But
while
then
ago.
this year, it's like again, it's
It's
everything's
yeah.
high protein.
So is it overhyped? Yes.
Yeah, it's overhyped.
That being said, for the majority of people, I'll call like just, everyday people who are not super into health and fitness or paying attention to their choices, it probably helps to get a little protein in through your coffee and
The
here and there. If it's not impacting your enjoyment of that food, why not?
the average person's not consuming enough protein.
Yes. So
Period. End
yeah,
of
the
story.
average person is likely not. So
Yeah.
for them, cool. Like, if that's like an easy way to sneak in some protein, great. For everyone else who like is getting enough protein through, animal protein sources or just other protein sources, yeah, you don't need to proteinify everything. I personally like if they're again, this is like kind of where the nuance comes in, where it's like, have I had enough protein today? Do I need to have some more protein? Is there an easy way for me to get it through this coffee that I was already going to have? Yes, cool. If not, it's like I want to enjoy whatever I'm eating. So like I will not make a protein cookie if that's not going to satisfy me as much as a regular cookie would. I would rather eat my regular cookie and have a protein shake if I need it. So yeah, I do think people have gone a little overboard with proteinifying literally every food that you can. But for people who aren't getting enough protein, it's good to have, I guess, like easy, accessible ways to get it in.
Yeah, but it's also just kind of ridiculous with some of the stuff. It's like I saw like an Instagram thing the other day where it's like high protein tiramisu. It's like, bro, if you ruin tiramisu for me, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like I'm a health and fitness coach.
I will
I
never. Yeah,
am
no.
never going to make a high protein
No.
tiramisu.
And I
But
think, sorry, one more thing is
you
just like
go
I
ahead.
think a lot of it is marketing too, because like if you get a
Mm.
latte, like it's gonna have probably 13 grams of protein in it because it has like a bunch of milk in it, and milk has a good amount of protein. So like, is there any extra protein in there, or are they just slapping a protein label on it now because they can?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And it's also how much sugar is in that thing too. It's like they fail to mention that. But to your question of how much protein should people be eating, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about that. And more research is coming out, and that's changed how we approach giving out protein guidelines. But as we've been saying this entire time, like nuance and individual context matters. Like, what kind of person are we talking about here? Are we talking about an everyday gen pop? Are we talking about an endurance athlete, a concurrent athlete, someone who's strength training? All those things. What's their body composition? Are they in a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus? All these things are going to change what would be an appropriate protein intake for them. But the RDA, so the recommended daily allowance, is zero point 0.8 grams of protein per 1 kilogram body weight. And a lot of people see,
I think it's even for 1 pound on the RDA website,
oh, really?
I believe.
Then that's
It's something
that's
that's
crazy
like
low.
low. Yeah.
There's a lot of misunderstanding about the RDA where people think that the
Right.
RDA means, no, I'm pretty sure it's protein.
Per
Yeah.
yeah, I was getting it
Point,
first.
0.8 grams per 1 kilogram body
Yeah.
weight. And a lot of people perceive the RDA as like that is the gold standard of what I should aim for. When in reality, that is the minimum dose for you to not be deficient in that thing. So the majority of the things on the RDA table, you should be consuming more. So for example, for basic health of a Gen Pop person, we're looking at 1.2 to like 1.4 grams protein per 1 kilogram body weight. For an endurance athlete, we're looking at 1.4 to 1.8 grams protein per 1 kilogram body weight. For a strength athlete, 1.4 to 2.2 grams per 1 kilogram body weight. And that's like a pretty broad range. But again, are we in a calorie deficit? How hard are we training? Are we going from off season to in season? What is their body composition? All these things are going to determine what's appropriate. But long story short, more people should probably be eating protein. And also, very, Fiber too. Fiber too. Well, we're talking about protein right now. And another
I
important
felt I had
thing,
to say that.
there's no such thing as too much protein as far as health is concerned. Because people are like, oh, I don't want to have too much
Unless you have
protein.
any pre-existing.
Yeah, like I don't want to have too much protein because it's going to be bad for my kidneys or something like that. If you don't have chronic kidney disease, that's not applicable for you. And the analogy that I like to give is like if you have a broken leg, right? Squatting is not bad for your femur. But if you have a broken femur, squatting is really bad for your femur. So if you have no pre-existing kidney issues and health concerns, then there's basically no cap to how much protein you can consume.
I want to zero in on that a little bit because it's like I understand that there's a recommended like floor to the protein that you should be consuming, and that's an important distinction that you made with the RDA. But in terms of like, let's say you're eating tons of protein, you're drinking all the protein coffees, and you're having the protein tiramisu, and you're going crazy protein. Do you just like your body just doesn't metabolize it, or like what happens if you're like over consuming protein in the way that you're describing? Like there's no negative cost, but
No, it's just
is there
kind of
any
like
benefit?
No, that's the thing. I was just gonna say there's no benefit after for most people having more than 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. There's no additional benefit.
Well,
for some athletes, yes.
We should specify no additional benefit as far as muscle gain and muscle recovery. There could be benefits as far as it's going to make you feel fuller because protein, calorie for calorie, is the most satiating macronutrient. So calorie for calorie, protein is more filling than carbs, fat. So if you're consuming more protein, even past what is recommended for optimizing muscle gain, there could be benefits of it simply filling you up more, and so you're more satisfied.
But again, at that point, I would direct people probably to look at their fiber intake too, because generally speaking, I would probably guess like 95% of people are not consuming enough fiber in their diet.
Yes. So with like muscle gain, muscle recovery, etc., you can kind of imagine like hitting that top protein mark is like flipping on a light switch. Like you've maximized your muscle protein synthesis, and trying to flip on a light that's already on even more just isn't going to do anything. It's like it's already on. We're already doing the thing.
Gotcha. What about creatine? A lot of people, take protein alongside creatine, especially if they're trying to build muscle mass. A lot of science, a lot of papers have been done on creatine. Do you have a take on creatine? And do you think that if you're just like an average person trying to gain muscle, you should use protein and creatine together?
Creatine is the most studied, the most researched sports supplement on the planet. Like
creatine monohydrate specifically.
Yes, specifically monohydrate.
Yeah, we definitely suggest most people take it. There is definitely not going to be any negatives to taking it. That being said, if people don't have the basics of nutrition and lifestyle in check, creatine is just like this little cherry on top, and it's not going to do much. So for people who are taking their training seriously and things like that, of course creatine can be very beneficial. Even you had mentioned protein. I don't think protein supplementation is necessary if you're able to get enough protein through your diet. That being said, it is super convenient, especially with how busy everyone's lives are. So super easy to have a protein shake in the mix. But yeah, creatine has tons of benefits.
And so many benefits that are so far beyond just performance.
Yeah, like now there's been more studies kind of showing some of the cognitive benefits from it. So even someone who isn't strength training or looking to gain muscle mass, there could be some benefits there too.
Yeah, grandma and grandpa should be taking creatine because it's really good for your brain health. There's all these studies coming out about benefits with like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's. It's pretty wild.